there are people who make long-term sex really work, but couples, but they're really, what Luke said is true.
I just finished reading Exit Ghost by Philip Roth. It's the last of the Nathan Zuckerman novels. Nathan Zuckerman is his protagonist. Nathan Zuckerman is a famous novelist who lives alone. And so in Exit Ghost, he goes to the city and he exchanges his place in the country for a New York apartment with this married couple. And he falls in lust with the 30-year-old wife and invites her over to his hotel room, and she refuses. And there was some profound point that I was going to make, but I mean, Philip Roth just captured so beautifully that
the husband didn't want her anymore, but he could.
Well, the husband still wanted her, but this was like a 71-year-old incontinent man. Nathan Zuckerman's come to New York.
He's already post his prostatectomy.
He's come to New York because he's trying to do have an operation or a series of operations to restore the sphincter muscle in his penis, because he has to wear whatever you have to wear.
It's a byproduct of transurethral prostate resectomy. Yes, and you can't. You're incontinent, and you can't adjust.
Right. Yeah, he's chasing this woman, and absurdly failing, and it's just so humiliating.
But was Nathan Zuckerman chasing her, or the other guys chasing her?
No, Nathan Zuckerman's chasing her. Yeah. And he's going home and writing imaginary dialogues between him and her. And like getting her to tell him this history of her life and about all the lovers she had,
and then he's filling his master bank with that material.
Right, and in every Philip Roth novel, it seems that like some goy chick is getting it in the mouth. to quote, who wrote God Is Not Great? Christopher Hitchens. It's true. It's a theme in all Philip Roth novels almost that the Jewish guy face F's the goy chick.
Fascinating, and I'll tell you something else that kicks up for me is that one of the things that I guess you can call it an anti-Semitic slur that was bounced around Hollywood was that the early studio bosses, that's what they needed from the starlets. They had to get their oral sex, and then the starlet. But it's a recurring thing like that face effing that Jewish men enjoy that supposedly.
I was reading a book on...
accepted, of course.
Yes. I was reading a book on Hollywood by Dennis McDougall, and he said a quote by Marilyn Monroe that never got published in the newspapers or magazines. Because when she got some acting contract, she said, I guess I won't have to suck so many cocks anymore.
Yeah, that's what I said to my father. He was talking about, my father-in-law that just yesterday was talking about A Gentleman Prefer Blondes, and he was going on and on about how great Marilyn Monroe was in it. I said, she was all that talented, but still, and I hypothesized that she, I guess, thank you, Marilyn, just validated what I said.
And yet there's no lasting satisfaction from that. Or is there?
Well,
do you think if you get one great Hummer that you're then content?
No. But 10 is better than 1, and the thing I said about Master Bank, memories are precious and can be used with great utility when necessary.
Right, and like when you get married.
Right. Well, look, I'll just say this, and it's not necessarily a reflection on my own experience, but making monogamy work is an art for both men and women. And, when you care about something, it doesn't matter how anyone else does it, you just got to do it.
Have you seen the movie Burn After Reading?
I have not.
Okay, I was watching this movie, and I made this point to Mark Gaffney, with whom I did a dialogue on the movie, that if any of the protagonists in the movie had a transcendent cause, they probably would not have fallen into so much trouble. I'm just sitting here spinning off on my fantasies. And you're talking about how difficult it is to make monogamy work, but for people who believe this is divine text, they have some advantages in that they're going to be less likely following their dick around, or they're going to be less likely to destroy themselves pursuing their vanities.
I think they're less likely. I still think they're more likely to do it than someone who is really in touch with. I don't want to go overboard on the self-knowledge thing, but I do believe in it. Someone who really understands themselves and how they function internally, and then they decide, this is what I'm doing, and I know it'll be a challenge, and I know how I will respond to it, but I'm going to make it work. I think they're in the best position to make it work, rather than someone who can't generate that internally, but get some strength.
Needs an external moral code.
Yeah. I want to say again about...
Monica's here!
Yay!
Midrashic girl, that's Monica.
Midrashic girl, what's up? Hey. I thought you wanted to hear my heart scream the scream of screams. And you missed it because I got here and it was piercing. It was like
unbelievable.
It was like the sound of an army crying out in unison, like in one voice.
Yes, yes.
And it was because you weren't here.
Remember, there's like a 30-second delay, so we'll speak and it'll take 30 seconds for Monica to react. But we do have Monica, aka Midrashic girl.
Midrashic girl. Oh, and look at the divisions that are breaking out in no Arabic, and there's fights over excellent arguments. The schmucks have woken up.
She wants you to scream it again.
I can't.
There's a family outside.
There's a family outside, but also Monica was specifically when Luke told me Monica's sick, and then it just burst forth. You can't summon that sort of thing at will. You know. So, but I'm happy you're here now. So now I'm really not going to scream.
We're very happy you're here.
I want to scream. See, isn't that just life? You want it, but it only could happen when you weren't here because of your absence. And then now I take you for granted.
Monica, do you have any... Luke's voice sounds kind of demonic on my computer. Not just on your computer. So your computer, Monica. That's just the way I am.
Well, Monica, if you hate missing this, you should come next week. And I will say, there's another person who is interested in coming next week.
Helen?
That's Helen Jupiter.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so,
just mention having two chicks there.
Yes, that would be an embarrassment of riches, Baruch Hashem. And,
that would be great. Wouldn't that be great fun to have Helen and Monica?
That would be a lot of fun.
We'd give them the chairs and we'd sit at their feet.
Yes, and
we'd learn Torah at their feet.
At their feet.
I hope they don't wear any shoes.
Yes.
Whoops. I'm going to get in so much trouble.
Really?
I'm not sure. No. My absence is a profound presence. That sounds like something Levinas would say.
Yeah.
Is that something Levinas would say? I can't stand. She'll be there. She'll be here next week for sure, vomiting on that.
Luke said, well, we didn't want Monica to vomit on the Torah. And as he said that, I wasn't going to argue with him, but I was kind of thinking, speak for yourself, buddy. It didn't have to be the Torah. You could have substituted the power of now or something.
The New Republic.
The New Republic.
Monica, do you have any thoughts on this week's Torah portion?
No, we're striking those sparks. Joshua, I promise you, we can really bring it. But Luke and I are just happy that our discussions are gaining traction and attracting other willing participants.
We only care about what the girl thinks. Like Josh, we don't really care what you fellas think. I mean, no offense.
I don't know. Me, yeah.
I mean, girls are where it's at.
Joshua, do you disagree that chicks are where it's at?
He says our arguments are infantile.
Well, bring it, Joshua. Then, Joshua, you come here and you take us and let's discuss it in person.
He's a tailor. I think he's in England.
An English tailor.
Yeah, well, I think he's near Manchester.
You know the.
I banned him like 8 times.
You what?
He's always fighting. I banned him like 8 times from the chat room.
You know the longest muscle in the human body is the sartorius, which is actually Latin for tailor. So Joshua, you don't need to fight anymore. You can feel good about because yes.
So Monica says this is the part of Deuteronomy that is a later addition. She thinks that's important. So do you think like when this Torah...
That is important. I agree.
So in this Torah portion, when it's predicting all these bad things that will come to Israel because they rebel against God, do you think that those sentiments are composed before or after all the bad things happen? Like, do you think like this is composed like after 722 when the Northern Kingdom was destroyed, and maybe even after 586 when they're taken away to Babylon?
Oh, absolutely.
Or do you think this is
Deuteronomy?
God's
Yes.
infinite divine wisdom?
No.
He's seeing from 3,200 years ago that the Israelites will...
No, well, first of all, Joshua, I do, Old Man Rivers, I do care, yes, I'm a caring individual. I'm sensitive to all sorts of opinions, both batshit and coherent. But I agree with you. No, my understanding is that this was not introduced to the Jewish people until 444 BC by